Hey, welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. They are America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. It's Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi here late night, almost early morning. The Hawks somehow win after a piss-poor first period. On the back of
it was all part of the plan.
Oh, really?
You must go down by 2 goals to come back from them.
Oh, the plan sucks. That was painful and embarrassing, but we'll get to all of it. Hawks win 3-2 in Anaheim. Jared freaking Tinordi with a pair of goals.
Blackhawks went to Jared.
That's right.
I wish I had a time machine to go on the DraftKings app and bet 1.5 goals over on Jared Tinordi.
That's not even on the board.
And then announce my resignation because I have enough money to retire. Because,
Jared Tenoris.
Yeah, there you go. That's a game the Blackhawks shouldn't have won, but they did. But we've said that about 8 times already this season.
6. This is the 6th time we've said that.
Yeah, well, they should have won one of those games. They deserve to win, I think.
The Sharks game.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you look at the last 2 games the Hawks have played. The game against the Kings, they were terrible and got a point. This game, they were terrible for 20 and average for 40. And got 2 points. They could take 3 of 4 on this road trip. And I think they're regressing hockey-wise. And I see some people in the chat here, including No Roids Just Rage, frustrated, saying they're going to completely screw up the best draft year since McDavid. It's unreal. I know it's frustrating. I know it feels that way. But this cannot sustain. It cannot sustain this way. The way they played the first period was absolutely ridiculous, just absolutely comical. Outshot 19-5 by a team that rarely puts up 30 shots on goal in a game. The Ducks had 41 shots on goal in this game. Meanwhile, the Ducks average about 40 shots against per game. The Hawks only mustered 22. This is not a winning formula. It's not going to last. And hooray, I guess, that they got 2 points here, but it's just it's frustrating when they get rewarded for such a piss poor effort. You know, it's one thing if they're earlier in the year, they're playing their asses off and they're playing hard and they're doing all the right things, and it's just a talent thing. The last 2 games, they have frankly sucked. They were not ready to go in either of those games, and we thought, after the really busy schedule to start the season, that taking a deep breath, regrouping, getting some practices in there, things would tighten up. If anything, they've loosened up. And the fact that they got 3 out of 4 points is a freaking hockey miracle.
Well, this team stinks at 5-on-5.
Yeah.
And I feel like we said this on Thursday night, Friday morning. You can't stink at 5-on-5 unless your power play is absolutely carrying you, and that's not necessarily the case with this team, and it's not going to be. So if they continue to be a bottom third team at 5-on-5 this season, this kind of formula for trying to stay in games and be competitive and we're bank on puck luck, it's not sustainable. And the Kings game, we talked about it. LA's not great but good, so they found a way to come away with a win at the last second in overtime against this Blackhawks team. The Ducks are terrible, and bad teams find ways to lose games. And sometimes bad teams find a way to win games. And I think this is just one of those kind of anomaly games where, the Blackhawks and the Ducks, neither one of them are a good team. And the Ducks, I don't want to say they didn't know how to play with a lead or how to play in a game that you're dominating, but they haven't done it much this season. And the Blackhawks have played from behind in games in which they were dominated, so they knew how to respond. It's not, again, it's not a winner's mentality, it's not a winning recipe, but it's what the Blackhawks know right now.
Yeah, the Ducks are like, when you start to go faster than you intended on your bike as a kid, and you're like, oh my God, I'm going so fast. And then inevitably you're just going to hit a tree because you don't know how to do it. That was the Ducks. It was almost like they were surprised by their own success.
Yeah.
Guys, the Ducks suck. And they skated circles around the Hawks all night. Most of the game looked like a Ducks power play. Most of the game looked that way, honestly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, it takes a wacky bounce, off the skate of Kulikov to go in and break the tie, but it's just unreal. And as the game's going on, I'm looking at my note card, like, who's going to be my 4-star? Like, who has played well in this game? And there's not really any Hawks aside from Soderblom, and you got to say Tinordi because he had 2 goals that played well. Even Kane and Domi, who had 2 assists each, they weren't really factors in the game. They just picked up assists. It's weird. It's a weird place to be, and it's tough to not overreact to 1 game or 5 games or 10 games or whatever. But we've been saying this all year, right? Like, oh, they're going to come back to earth. They're going to start losing, and they are. But it's just, I can see how fans tonight are like, what the hell? They played that bad and won? What is going on here?
Yeah, Connor Bedard is going to have a lot of fun playing with Trevor Zegras. That's going to be a fun line.
Can you imagine that?
Bedard, this is my fault.
McTavish.
This is my fault, Ducks fans. I picked the Ducks to make the playoffs this year, so thanks for making me look like a complete moron that's never watched hockey before. Get a goaltender. I mean, John Gibson is broken and bad, and Anthony Stolars is an AHL guy. So, I think they're going to just pack it in and get another great player. They're going to be a really good team in a couple of years, but it's just not this year. There's 68 games left on this schedule. So can we just stop with they're screwing up the tank and the rebuild stuff? This is still a pretty bad hockey team. And if Jack Edwards, Chuckle Mucko said in the comments something about Jack Edwards saying they may be top 10, not top 5. If Jack Edwards says the Hawks are good, then the Hawks are going to be freaking terrible from here on out. Jack Edwards is terrible. He's awful. So relax. Pump the brakes on the 68 when the rebuild is done. It's over. It's screwed. The tank it's not working. If you watch this game, you should know they play like this against the Carolina Hurricanes on Monday. They're losing 19-1.
Tavo's out though.
All right, 18-1.
Thank you.
Yeah, got to take that one goal against his former team that's guaranteed off the board.
Yeah, so a lot of hockey to go. This team is bad at 5-on-5. Bad. Yeah, they scored 3 5-on-5 goals tonight, but they came from their defensemen. 2 from Jared Tinordi. And then Filip Roos. Congratulations, Filip Roos, getting back in the lineup and scoring his first NHL goal. Good for him.
Yeah.
So, it's a long way to go. We haven't even hit Thanksgiving yet.
American Thanksgiving.
Yes, this is a bad hockey team that's just getting some luck here. I mean, they had no business winning this game. They had no business getting the point Thursday night. But they did. That happens through stretches. There were some games you could have argued they played well enough to win earlier in the season and didn't. So, they kind of even out.
Yeah, no, it's
I get the frustration. You when you hear tank and you get excited about this draft, and you still should be excited about this draft, and you get frustrated when you're like, why do they keep winning? It's okay. It'll be okay.
Well, yeah,
it's still a lottery. Let's just stop worrying about that for a little while and just marvel at how bad this team is at 5-on-5.
Yeah, I think part of it too is you spend all summer, you recover from the DeBrincat trade and the Doc trades. You start to like, okay, we're on 5 days a week all summer talking to you guys like, hey, like, okay, this is the time to do this. It's probably overdue. It's going to suck, but the plan is sound. So everyone kind of like steels themselves for, okay, as our buddy Cody says, I'm ready to be hurt again, right? Like everyone's ready for 82 games for the Hawks to look like ass and lose. And the thought is at the end of the road, there's going to be a magical reward, be it Connor Bedard, be it Adam Fantilli, be it Mitch Kopp, be it whoever, right? There's going to be somebody that's going to, jumpstart this rebuild and kick it off in fine fashion. And now we're looking at this like, oh my God, they might be picking in the middle of the draft. Just trust your eyes. This team is bad. They're bad, and they're going to get worse. You're going to have guys getting hurt, right? Like Jack Johnson left for a while today, came back out. Good to see him come back out. But veterans are going to get hurt. Guys are going to get traded. It's not all going to necessarily happen at the deadline, right? They're not just going to wait until March 3rd to trade everybody. If something comes up and if a team has an injury, the Hawks can take advantage of that and pick up some assets to move a guy. So but again, just try, even as they are now, even at almost full strength, Seth Jones is out, but they're close to full strength. It's going to be bad.
They lost Jack Johnson, so I don't.
No, he came back.
Oh, he
came
did?
back
Okay.
out for the third. Yeah. And the other thing is, remember, when Alex Stalock comes back, the goaltending situation gets worse. Because I've said it before, and I'm saying again, it's going to be in my Hawks hits tonight. Soderblom is their best goalie. If there's one game to play to secure the rights to Connor Bedard, I'm tapping Soderblom, and I get, bet what? If you were sitting at a bar with Luke Richardson, he'd probably say the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he is clearly the putting out the best results of the three in the most sustainable is the key word on this show, in the most sustainable way. Alex Stalock has been playing, putting up numbers, making saves, but the way he plays is not sustainable. So I feel the most confident right now with Soderblom in the net for the Blackhawks, and the plan is for him to play as much as he can in Rockford. So when Mrazek and Stalock are both healthy, they're going to be here, and they're not going to carry three goalies. Soderblom will go back to the AHL, which is great news for the Ice Hogs, and probably tough news for him because, I mean, he's playing well enough to stick in the NHL, and when any player is doing that, they want to stick in the NHL as long as they can. So, but that's just the plan, and I think for a team that is starting to stray away from plans, stick with the plan with Arvid Soderblom.
Yeah. Shep is in the chat saying that, there's more bad teams in the NHL than we thought. And he said his point is you don't have to be good to win because so many teams are bad. It is still very early. And some of the teams that have bad records are better than their plan. Like St. Louis is not that bad. Maybe they make a coaching change, but
they won again tonight, 2 in a row.
They're going to have a bounce back.
They beat Vegas in Vegas. They're going to be fun. They're going to bump ahead.
Yeah.
Minnesota's going to bump ahead. There's a lot of teams.
A lot of teams that have been behind the Hawks are putting it together too. Even the Blue Jackets got another point. They've got 3 points in their last 2 games. The Blues have won 2 in a row. The Flames are going to get it together. They're not going to be behind the Hawks. It's
the same teams
we
thought.
Let it run. It's
going to be the Ducks, the Sharks, the Coyotes, and Hawks are going to be the bottom 4.
The Coyote fans are probably having the same discussions we are about, oh my God, is this team too good? Because the Coyotes have been pretty good. They've been a lot better than anybody thought. They've got some young kids that are producing and helping them win games. I do believe one of us on this panel said that's a possibility. So watch out. I don't remember which one of it was, but they're not as bad as we thought they were, but they're probably still going to be at the bottom of the heap too. So there's a lot of teams that are still figuring things out, going through injuries, things like that. So much hockey left to play.
Mm-hmm.
So much hockey left to play.
Yeah, I don't think there is any need to worry about standings right now. Let's get fat on turkey and then look at the standings and see, hey, Are we now too far ahead to really think, oh, this is going to come back crashing down in a way that's going to get them back into the bottom three? If that's the case, like if we're getting into December and the Blackhawks are not in the bottom 10, then yeah, you may have to feel a little worried. And you can probably expect at that point, maybe Kyle Davidson starts making some significant phone calls, because he's not going to, I know people are like, oh, Arvid Soderblom, trade him. Jared Tinordi, trade him. It's like, okay, yeah, haha, it's funny. Like we're all making our jokes about it, but you have to start looking at it. There's going to be some moves made, and I don't think Kyle Davidson needs to wait until late January, February trade deadline to make those moves. I mean, he might start as early as later this month, or early in December. And
yeah, sorry.
And I just think, it may be dictated by where they are in the standings. It may also just be dictated by where their trajectory is. Like if they keep coming back and winning games, I know we've talked about, like, what if they're in a playoff spot? Like Kyle Davidson might start making moves to make sure that he doesn't even have to worry about what if they're in a playoff spot. He might start tanking this team from a roster standpoint earlier than expected.
Here's the thing with that. Unless we're talking about Kane, Taves, Domi, Athanasiou, Murphy, McCabe, right? If you start like shipping out,
well, that's like half of them, but yeah,
well, I know, but if you start shipping out like bottom feeder type guys, like for whatever, the guys that are going to come up are almost better. Like if you start trading forwards, you're going to have to bring up Reichel. You're going to have to bring up
not necessarily.
Not necessarily. I don't know how you can keep him down though. Like at some point,
it depends on who he would be replacing. Like if you trade, I guess if you're trading a guy who's playing in the top 6, yeah, you would bring him up. But if you're making a minor trade in the bottom 6 rotation,
if you trade Jason Dickinson, Jason Dickinson, you're going to bring up Josiah Slavin as opposed to Lucas Reichel.
Sure,
right.
But at the same time, trading Jason Dickinson isn't going to restart the tank, right? Like that's the thing. Like you can't sell-offs that are going to matter and make a difference and like truly tank this thing are the guys I mentioned, right? Like those are the guys where, okay, they got rid of, let's just say Connor Murphy, just throwing a name out there because some contender needs a defenseman, right? That is something that will seriously impact the season. That's gonna hurt, right? That's definitely gonna make an impact. But I don't know. It's tough. And look, maybe he's trying to piss off the guys that are here, Taves and Kane. So they say, you're gonna trade Connor Murphy after this unexpectedly great start we had? Screw you, I'm leaving. And he's like, no. Please don't go.
Yeah, it could end up being that way.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, let's not wring our hands over every single victory that they have here in October and November. So many things can play out. Hockey is such a weird sport where you can win a road game, you get seriously outplayed in because Jared freaking Tinordi scores 2 goals. So anything literally can happen on a nightly basis. So I don't think we need to wring our hands after every win. Let's just let it play out. Enjoy the fact that we have a team that actually has some competent coaching for a while. It's been a long time since we had that. That makes me happy going forward. This team got completely their doors blown off of them in the first period, and yet they came back in the second period and played a lot better. And, they killed off that double minor penalty to that was first given to Entwistle, then correctly given to Kachuk. So, hey, and you know what else is fun to watch? As Paul says, they're fun to watch. A red ass Jonathan Taves is fun to watch. Man, like that was fun when he got involved in that squirmers. Frank Vetrano had been a pain in the ass all night long, and they had enough of it. And then for whatever reason, Ryan Strome, second best Strome, decides he wants to like be cute. And Taves was like, you know what? I carried your dead ass brother for 3 years. I'll beat your ass right here.
Chuckle Mucko brings up a good point. He says the Hawk situation goes back to my posit. Is a top 5 pick better than multiple late first round picks? That's the thing. And like
Oh.
the Hawks could have as many as 4 first-round picks this year, maybe 5 when you think about it.
Maybe
You
four.
And you
4
can
first-round
package it.
picks. Yeah, but you know what? We don't know the answer to that question until those picks are made and they come to the end. We can't answer that question for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you can have all the picks you want, but if you pick a bunch of busts, they're worthless.
Yeah.
If you have
Right.
one pick and you pick the best guy in the draft with that one pick, then it doesn't like. So
Right.
it's half a dozen of one, 6 of the other.
If you take one player in the top 5 that changes your organization, or you take 3 guys between 15 and 25 and they're decent, like you take the one organizational changer. And yeah, I mean, I know we're saying like, oh, it's early, and at some point it's not going to be early. At some point it's going to be in the middle of the season, and if they look like Luke Richardson is a breath of fresh air as a coach. He is so far in his first full tenure as a head coach, lived up to his billing. He's gotten these players to play a simplified system, to listen to him, take him seriously, and implement the things that he wants them to do. And as as simple of a game as he plays, he's not trying to revolutionize anything. He's just putting the players he has, the cards he's been dealt, he's been doing the most with them. And look, like we know that the goal has been get into the lottery, get into the top 3, get the best odds at Connor Bedard, while also establishing a culture. And right now, with the results that they're getting further away from having the best odds at Connor Bedard. But they are establishing the culture. And would I rather have a team that has no identity and is just getting shit canned and losing, and Connor Bedard comes into a team that really doesn't have a direction? I don't know how good that would be, but would I rather have maybe the number 5 pick and a team that knows how to compete, that knows the system that they're playing, and knows, like, has a team culture and a locker room culture of like, hey, when you come to the Chicago, when you are a Blackhawk, this is how we play, this is how we work, and to have that identity established. I don't know.
I would agree with you if it wasn't Bedard, because Bedard is, bring him into a train wreck. I don't care. I want that kid on the team. The other thing too is, and No Rage Just Rage brings it up here in the chat, like so many guys on this team don't matter to the future of this. I mean, we went through it in the offseason, like who's going to be here when they're good again? Kurashev, maybe Murphy if they hang on to him.
Yeah.
Soderblom, maybe. But the rest of the roster is just dudes. They're just space fillers. And yeah, like, you create an identity throughout the league, and people say, oh, you go in Chicago and you're in for a tough game regardless of their talent level, and they're going to be well coached and they're going to hang around, right? They're going to be pesky, or what was used, spunky? Was that the word Jack Edwards used? Spunky.
Yeah.
That's true, but when they're not here, when those guys aren't here, you have to recreate the same culture with a new crop of players. And cultures are going to change too, because if you've got a bunch of elite scorers, they're not going to be this grindy, defensive focused. Like Luke's going to have to, and that doesn't change the culture, but it changes the feel of the team a little bit. So
sure,
it's tough. I want them to have the best chance at the best pick they can possibly get.
Right.
But of course it's not guaranteed. And,
well, I mean, I don't think we're looking at 100. I don't think we're talking about like a 95% roster turnover from this year to next year, and then another 95% from that year, from 2024 to 2025.
Of course.
Like there's going to be carryover,
Yeah.
and we might see a player or two that plays this season and becomes an established player. Like Sam Lafferty may end up being here for another 3-4 years. Kurashev, Entwistle, guys like that, like, yeah, they're not the superstars. They're not the guys that are going to get 8-year deals, but they might be here for a handful of years where carryover matters. and then the next crop comes through. Those guys have been here for a few years. They're the established, veterans in the locker room, and they can translate the message, translate the culture being built under Luke Richardson. I think that can go a long way. You don't need to have a locker room like they had in the early 2010s, where you had 8, 9, 10 guys that were there for 5, 6 years and establish a Stanley Cup culture. Like, you don't need to have that, but you can have something where there is carryover, that when the next wave comes through, what we're talking about in 2, 3, 4 years, when, a guy like Kevin Korchinski becomes like an NHL regular. I think that kind of carryover can matter. Do I want Connor Bedard to be a part of that? Of course. Yes. 100%. I take that option. But if he can't, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think still having I think about it this way. There's like in video games, there's your main objective and then there's your side quests. And sometimes if the main objective doesn't pan out, you check all those side quests, you might still get an achievement for it, right? So I don't know. I don't want to say that they're winning too much early on in the season, that they're not going to be in a position to get Connor Bedard. But if this does somehow sustain and their odds at Connor Bedard are the worst that they could be, at least establish some culture, at least have a locker room that believes in the organization, believes in the coaching staff, and have that translate year over year, so that when the team has the pieces that they need to be competitive, they're not just doing it and now figuring out the identity of the team. I think that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah. I think identity and culture are two different things. Identity, this team has the identity of being like a grindy, try hard, hard to play against team.
Yeah.
But the culture is to put in the effort and work hard every day. And, so when the roster adjusts and you become more talented, you have more skill out there, your identity may change, but that culture stays the same. Because the identity is going to change from year to year. The identity of this team is probably going to be completely different when we get to March as it is now. But the culture can remain the same. And that's why having so much emphasis on Rockford is huge, because they're learning that culture while playing a different identity kind of hockey down there. So when they get here, the culture stays the same and the identity. So we're going to have all the buzzwords tonight. But I think people can differentiate the identity. To me, identity and culture are two different things.
Yeah.
The culture can stay the same during the entire Kyle Davidson, Luke Richardson era, but the identity can change from game to game, season to season, month to month, whatever.
Yeah. It's what everybody made fun of when Theo Epstein joined the Cubs and talked about the Cubs way, right? Where there is an organizational plan from A to the major leagues, right? And everyone is instructed the same way at every level. So when they get to the big club, they know what's expected, right? And that is a culture, right? And baseball and hockey are two totally different things. I know that. But you're trying to just have the thought process be the same from Rockford and Indy, in some examples. And we talked to Ryder Ralston yesterday after our trip to Notre Dame, and I don't want to spoil it. It's going to be in my Hawks beat thing that comes out Tuesday morning. Ryder Ralston had some incredible comments about the Blackhawks' commitment to their prospects and to the players they're developing. Ryder Ralston, when you look at the depth chart of Hawks prospects, is middle to lower middle. And he was talking about getting calls from Mark Eaton and Kendall Coyne and Eric Condra often, checking in on him, sending him tape, keeping their eye. Like, this organization is setting a culture with this new regime. And the prospects feel it. Remember, Ralston was a Colorado Avalanche draft pick. And he said to us, like, it is so much better here than it was in Colorado when it comes to development. So just something to keep in mind as we talk about the development of culture and all those sort of things. We are way behind on some stuff.
Yes.
I want to acknowledge Bertsky, who's joining us tonight from Thailand. Thank you, Bertsky, for checking in with us. Thanks for the super chat. And Brandon Sikora, he says, is it Jared or Jesus Tinordi? Well, we're going to recap the scoring right now. and let you know about it. Then we're going to give
It's
our
officially Sunday. We need to lighten up on the blasphemy.
yeah, exactly.
Jesus
Exactly.
Tinordi.
By the way, hockey fans, if you missed it, check out the Boreas Salming little ceremony the Leafs did tonight. That was quite a thing to behold. It was very, very touching. Salming doing with ALS, had him out on the ice. He can't even speak anymore.
Yeah. Did they do 2 honorary things for him?
There was
I thought I saw one last night too.
So there was like a Legends night the other night.
It was the Hall of Fame. It was the Hall of Fame
Oh.
game last night. So they had all the Hall of Famers last night. Yeah.
So
Okay,
this was specific to Salming, and it was just incredible. So make sure you check that out. All right, let's recap the scoring here. It didn't take long. 19 seconds into the game, Troy Terry wins a board battle against multiple Hawks. I think Jake McCabe was the first, was the last guy to lose. Gets the puck to Trevor Zegras behind the net. Terry gets back in front and scores his 6th of the year, and Zegras gets his 6th assist of the game. I made a note here about 6.5 minutes into the game. Shots are 10-1, including a hit post from the Ducks 6.5 minutes into the game. The first shot from the Hawks came from the neutral zone, about a 150-foot shot that just happened to roll in and hit the goalie, so it counts as a shot.
Drive in the paper.
Yep. And the Ducks have gone 14 games without a regulation win. So I was just getting very, very frustrated as this period was going on. 11-13 into the first, 2-0 Anaheim. Adam Henrique scores on a 2-on-1. Trevor Zegras interferes with Connor Murphy. The referees missed it. It was blatant. It caused a 2-on-1. Wasn't called. Tough shit. Henrique gets his 5th. Troy Terry, his 13th assist. And Benoit picks up the other one for the Ducks. Now it's 18 shots for Anaheim. That's the most the Hawks have given up in the period. And there's still 6 minutes to play in the period. So the Hawks had already given up the most they surrendered all season with 6 minutes to go in the period. 13:55, Jared Tinordi gets his first, or Jesus Tinordi gets his first goal of the game. Nice pass by Max Domi. Tinordi gets the net, pulls to the backhand, tucks it back. It was like, I had to do like the cartoon, like eye rub. Like, did I just see what I just saw? That was something. That was a hell of a move.
It was a pretty one.
Every now and then, a professional can pull something off.
Yeah, Domi gets his 5th assist. Kane picks up his 9th of the year. End of the period, Pavel Regenda hooks Connor Murphy, so the Hawks start the second with a minute 50 of power play time. They do not score on the power play when the second begins, but a couple minutes later, 4:04 in fact, Filip Roos scores his first goal of the season. He shoots, picks up his own rebound, and scores. Patrick Kane gets the assist there, his 10th of the season. The third period, not a whole lot going on until all hell breaks loose. There's a 2-on-1 chance that Arvid Soderblom goes post to post and saves. There's a post whistle scrum with Taves and Radish and Strome, and everybody's mixing it up. Then moments later, Jared Tinordi takes a point shot. It hits Dmitry Kulikov in the foot, goes in the back of the net, and the Hawks win the damn game 3-2 somehow.
It actually was deflected twice.
Yeah.
On the replay, on the broadcast, it was it was great,
and it wasn't even a great shot to begin with.
It was so
on edge.
It was a horrible shot, and on the broadcast, Troy Murray, jokingly goes, "Yeah, Tinordi just hammers this puck, and it comes off his stick, and it's going end over end." And it hits a Ducks stick, and then it starts spinning like sideways, and then it hits Kulikov and goes in.
Just how he drew it up.
Yeah,
that's a play Luke Richardson loves his video. That's a goal he needs to show all season long when guys like Max Domi and others who are guilty of it start deferring shots and passing and looking for the perfect pass. He just needs the perfect highlight reel goal. Just put that video up and go, see, this is what happens when you just try and shoot the puck on that. Sometimes crazy things happen and they go in. Jared Tinordi had a much better chance of scoring a goal by doing that than you do of dropping the puck back 10 feet when you're 3 feet from the net.
Yep. Philip joining us in the chat here says Jared Tinordi for Norris, actually Eric Carlson, who exactly right. Jared Tinordi. I think his Norris chances went up like 500%. after this one.
Yeah, they were negative something before the game. But hey,
from 0 to
greatest waiver claim in Blackhawks history.
That's exactly right.
At least this year. This year
could be
exactly right. All right, let's get to our king of the game here, shall we? Do we have our sound effect? Do I have to do it myself? I'm happy to do it.
We do not, unfortunately.
Oh man! All right, well, the king of the game is going to go to who else but Jared Tinordi. 2 goals on 2 shots. You call that, my friends? That's 100% shooting percentage. He also had a block shot.
He had a BS tonight.
Yes.
Well, him scoring 2 goals is kind of BS, but we'll take it.
22:02 of ice time for Tinordi. He is the obvious DraftKings king of the game. And hockey fans, it is finally time to hit the ice again. And thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you're in for the season of a lifetime. New customers can bet $5 on any team and get $200 in free bets if they win. Tonight, the Hawks were down 2-1. They somehow were still in the game. They didn't deserve to be. So I put a $5 bet down for the Hawks to win this game on the money line. And guess what? I won some money.
I told you were smart.
Yeah, $10 for me. Look at me. I'm smart. If that wasn't enough, you can turn smaller bets into bigger payouts with same game parlays. Mario, I'm going to give you the floor here in a second. Combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot at an even bigger payout. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code CHGO. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game and get $200 in free bets if they do. That's code CHGO at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And Mario, I'm going to let you take a victory lap here and let people know. Or no, it was Greg who hit the parlay.
Yeah, Greg hit it.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, Greg.
I had the good night.
I was going to say, my bets didn't hit tonight, Jay.
My Wi-Fi was disastrous today. Yeah. All right, Greg, let's go.
Or do I need to give it the Chicago treatment, the DraftKings Sportsbooks? No, I did a 3-leg parlay. Nick Suzuki over 0.5 point, Patrick Kane over 1.5 point, Cale Makar over 1.5 point. All 3 of those guys had 2 points tonight. So that was I quickly turned $5 into $43 with that bet. So good for me.
Lunch is on you next time.
Yeah. If I remember to get my card on Monday where I left it.
I'll meet you there.
Yeah, sounds good. Hey, if you're wondering why I've got my Winter Bears hat on, it's because I'm practicing for tomorrow morning. Because it's going to be a little cold, but we're going to be on the corner of Roosevelt, Michigan for our official Chicago versus Detroit tailgates party. So if you haven't got your tickets for that yet, come on, go to allchgo.com. And join us. We're going to have food, drinks. Goose Island is supplying the blankets in a bottle or can, however you want to decide it. They'll keep you warm. So join us starting at 8:30 tomorrow. And if you come out to the tailgate and you're hanging out and it's 11 o'clock and you're like, man, I really wish I was going to the game today. I want to see Justin Fields run all over the Detroit professional football team. Well, get on your phone and go to Game Time. They are the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets, sports, concerts, and shows. And you're going to get yourself the best deal on the secondary market for Bears tickets. If you want to go see that game tomorrow, join us for the tailgate. Click on the link in our podcast descriptions for Game Time, and they're going to take you to the best deals. And that's the way to do it when you use Game Time. Don't buy the ticket 3 weeks ahead of time. Buy the ticket as you park in the stadium. The longer you wait, the better deal you get. Last minute price drops, all part of Game Time. You won't find a better deal this season on any tickets. If you're looking for Blackhawks tickets, got to use Game Time. Drive down to the United Center, and as you get out of the parking lot, click on that podcast link description. Buy your tickets. You're going to get some super dear tickets for under $20 for Monday's game against the Carolina Hurricanes. That's because Tavo's not playing. The price plummeted, but that's okay. You're going to get the best deal in town on that Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening Marion Hossa game next week on the 20th. Tickets are under $100. They were way up. They are dropping. Special note, if you do have tickets for that, it's a 6 o'clock puck drop. The ceremony for Marion Hossa is going to start at 4:30. So they're not going to do one of these things where they have their pregame skate and then everybody sits for an hour. They're going to do the ceremony, then go on as normal business. So get there early if you have those tickets. 4:30 that ceremony starts. Gates open at 3:30.
Yep.
Now I want to talk about that a little bit. I don't love that. I don't
mind it. Because I hate when like they come out for warm-ups and then they sit in the locker room for 45 minutes. Get it over with and then proceed with your business. Like it's a Sunday. And
they've got to do a good job of letting people know, because there's going to be people that are going to show up expecting a ceremony like before the game and are going to be like, wait, I paid a premium price for this ticket knowing it was this game and I was not told. Because they know people are not watching every game this year. They've got to find a way to get that.
Well, the thing is this year, now that pretty much you can only buy tickets electronically and there's an email attached to it, I'm sure they're going to be bombing emails. I'm sure that it's going to be all over the app. They're going to put it all over the place. So hopefully, you would think it would be all like there's ways now to get it out. It's going to be all over their Twitter. It's going to be all over their Instagram. It's going to be, if you bought a ticket using your email address, they're going to bombard your, email bot. We'll keep reminding you. Like, I think in this day and age, if you don't know, it's kind of on you.
Yeah. I mean, if I think as much as we can do, well, just anytime we talk about the game, just say, hey, get there as early as possible. Doors open 3:30.
Yeah, it's a Sunday. There's no reason you can't get there by.
Try and get there at 3:31, like just to be safe. I said on Twitter I'm gonna sleep over that night. I probably will. I'm just gonna sleep in the parking lot and make sure I'm not late.
Yeah, good thinking. Unrelated programming note. Very special show coming up Friday. We're going to be at a special time of 11 a.m. You're not going to want to miss that show. More details to follow, but set a reminder, Friday, 11 a.m. You are not going to want to miss the CHGO Blackhawks show. Also,
that classic 11 a.m. start time.
The 22nd of November, that's a week from Tuesday, we're going to talk to Bernie Nichols at 2 p.m. So that show is going to be a half hour early to accommodate Bernie. He wrote a book. So we're going to talk to Bernie Nichols. So Friday at 11, mark your calendars. Very special show that we cannot quite share quite yet, but you're smart. And then Tuesday the 22nd, 2 p.m. we're going to talk to Bernie Nichols. So
number 92.
And I'm also trying to get Liam McHugh to come on the show this week because they play the Blues on Wednesday on TNT. So hoping to get Liam on the show on Tuesday, but nothing confirmed there.
Yeah, then we can butter him up to get maybe one of his pals that sits to the left of him every night on TNT.
That would be nice. Get Wayne Gretzky, my guy.
Gretzky.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Hossa retirement. I'm curious now to see what they're gonna do. Like if it's starting at 4:30. They've got something special. I mean, obviously, but I think it's going to be a little different from what we're used to. I wonder what it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't think you do something an hour and a half before the game's supposed to start if it's only going to take 15 minutes. Like it's going to be a whole production.
There's going to be it's going to be like Marion Hossa, This Is Your Life. And they bring out people. I think it's going to be maybe they'll do a roast, a Dean Martin roast of Marion Hossa.
How can you roast Hossa? It's like, remember when you're like a hockey robot that's like perfect in every way? Yeah, take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna bring out his first grade teacher, and his first hockey coach, and teammates from every team. The Blackhawks, they could take a lot of heat for a lot of things, but doing these types of things, they don't drop the ball very often. They usually do it really well. And based on what they've done already this year with some of their special events, they knocked Native American Heritage Night out of the ballpark. Hockey Fights Cancer Night was a tremendous night. This is their night. This is their Stanley Cup night. This is the night everybody wants to be there. And Paul says, I hope they televise it. I'm sure it is without a shadow of a doubt. That might be probably the 4:30 time to make sure TV and all that.
Yeah, stuff. That might be a window for like NBC Sports Chicago.
Right. So
to be able to go live.
Yeah, it will be on TV. There's no doubt. At the very least, if they can't get it on TV, which I'm sure they will, it will be on. They will stream it live on the app, on the website. It will be you'll be able to watch it. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to what they pull off. I know they're excited about it, and based on some of the things they've done already this season, it's going to be really cool. It's going to be goosebumps all night.
Yeah, No Roy's Just Raid says bring on Eddie O and Pat Foley. That would be fun. That'd be a
How
fun.
about Eddie O, but Pat Foley? I'd be
Foley's
surprised if
there.
Pat Foley. I bet you he'll be the PA guy
Yeah,
for it.
that'd be great.
We should make a host of night bingo card, and just see like Eddie O, Pat Foley, Thomas Kopetsky.
Yeah.
Like who's gonna be there? Who's gonna
Well,
talk?
there'll
like
be a
that sort
ton of
stuff.
there'll be a ton of video messages in between puck drops.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Sam says they're going to bring out Rafi Torres for a beating. I am for it.
Maybe they'll do
Rafi
they'll have a
Torres
Rafi
live
Torres
pinata. Yeah.
Public flogging of Rafi Torres right at center. You could raffle off like sticks to hit him with.
Take some swings.
Maybe they'll
For charity,
do
for good cause.
Maybe they'll do what Darren McCarty and Claude Lemieux did, and kind of like spark up a friendship and start to talk and work it out. No, I don't think so.
No.
Screw that guy. He doesn't.
That would mean Rafi Torres would actually have to learn how to speak a language other than just grunts and moans in order for him to communicate with another human being.
Just write in hieroglyphics to communicate. Yeah. Well, screw that guy for the record. All right, we've got some more stuff to do.
I'm all for the public flogging of Rafi Torres. That would be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Let's get to our 4-star of the game. Our number 3 star today was Max Domi, 2 assists, 2 shots on goal. He won 10 out of 19 faceoffs. Number 2 for the Ducks was Troy Terry, a goal and an assist. He had 2 shots and 6 shot attempts. And Jared Tinordi, 2 goals, 2 shot attempts, 5 hits. He's your number 1 star of the game. He was also our king of the game. So the 4-star of the game. You know what? I'm going to give it to Caleb Jones. Didn't do anything overly spectacular, but I think he had a nice bounce back from a game of his that was absolutely terrible. His last game against LA was as much of a disaster as you're going to see from a guy. It was really bad. He had a really bad game, and I was kind of surprised to see him in the lineup because you knew they were going to get Filip Roos into the lineup for the father's trip. So you knew that was coming, but I thought for sure that Jones would be the scratch. He was not. He played 16:55, had a shot on goal, 2 missed shots, a hit, 3 giveaways, but he took away a puck, which he was not credited for. In the third period, there was a cross-ice pass to Trevor Zegras that he denied and prevented a really glorious scoring chance for the Ducks. So nothing spectacular on the score sheet, but a nice bounce back for Caleb Jones in this one, I thought.
Yeah. One funny moment, though, just kind of par for the course the way the season's going. You put in our little pregame chat room. I'm taking Caleb Jones as my 4-star, and then 3 seconds later, he was offsides on a play. It's like, the Zawaski curse again.
That's it.
Yeah, but no, nice bounce back. I'm gonna go with Patrick Kane. He had 2 assists. He helped me win those $43. Led the team with 4 shots on goal. And let's see here. Is that a takeaway or no, a giveaway? So he had a giveaway, but the 2 assists, he owns the Ducks. He now has 51 points in 48 career games. He just loves putting points up against the Ducks. That's why I had no problem going plus 1.5 on the DraftKings. So, and you hear it, you see it in our chats here. I get it on Twitter all the time. Patrick Kane looks like he doesn't care. He's not giving the effort. Well, he's still a point per game player this year. He's got 14 points in 14 games. So
it's how he's always played.
He's always been lackadaisical and laid back. And sure, when he's not scoring goals, all of a sudden he doesn't care. But he's still picking up assists, and the goals will come. Like it's just his style. And you know what? The line looked a little better tonight with Kurashev up there instead of Anthony Ciu, so that maybe that changed it a little bit. They had the 2 the 2 5-on-5 goals with the defensemen with Roos and Tinordi. So, a little something to work off of there. But Patrick Kane, he owns the Ducks, and he helped me win my bet tonight. So he's my 4-star.
I believe the Blackhawks have won 11 in a row now against the Ducks.
That sounds right.
I think they were saying something on the broadcast that they either had 9 or 10 in a row regular season wins against the
I
Ducks.
had it in my pregame thread. Stand by. I will get us the exact thing here. They have this is their 8th in a row.
8th in a row
over the
okay.
Ducks. 8th in a row. I think it's 11 straight with a point.
Okay. Well, hey, I mean,
still pretty good.
Talking about owning the Ducks, Blackhawks have done that recently. My 4th star is the guy that kept the Blackhawks in this game, and really outside of Jared Tinordi, probably the only reason that they won, and that is the man between the pipes, Arvid Soderblom. Look, I mean, we said it earlier in the show. He is playing as the best goaltender right now that the team has. 37 saves, 36, 37 saves tonight. Like, he was, he against the Ducks team that is not good and gives up a ton of shots. You would have thought the shots would have been flip-flop tonight, but it was the Blackhawks that were getting shelled tonight, and Soderblom was able to respond, and he's played really well. Every time I see him play, I am more and more encouraged for at least the future of the team in net. I think he's turned out to be. He's got good potential. He's got good potential at the NHL. He's still a young guy. He's still kind of figuring things out at the NHL level. But from what I've seen in the AHL from him, what I've seen in the NHL, things look good. And tonight was another feather in his cap of given some good feelings about his future at the NHL level. So 4th star tonight, Arvid Soderblom.
And if Soderblom keeps excelling and keeps playing well, and you still believe Drew Comezzo is the number 1 goalie prospect in the system, that allows you to be even more patient with Comezzo and let him develop even more if Soderblom can consistently do this at the NHL level. And he's been great. I, for one, can't wait to get him back in Rockford, though.
Yeah, that would be good for the RSL.
And that's not a slam on him, but stick to the plan. Let's get Alex Stalock healthy and get Arvid back in Rockford.
Yeah,
I remember lost tonight, by the way. They lost 3-2.
You've got Mrazek for next year too, by the way.
Technically, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, ISOG's note tonight, Lucas Reichel picked up his 69th career AHL point.
Nice job, Lucas.
That's nice.
Good job.
I'm proud of you. All right, should we get to the tank standings?
Sure. Do you want to hear about Pins and Aces before we do?
Sure, yeah. Go
All right. Pins and Aces. They're a golf apparel company, the official golf apparel company of CHGO and the presenting sponsor of the Big Drive Energy Golf Podcast on the All City Network. They make great golf apparel, spectacular golf apparel, the best golf apparel, some do say. They're a family-owned business, which is awesome, making amazing polos, hats, bags, and the fan favorite beer sleeve, the innovative beer sleeve product that goes right into your bag and can store up to 7 of your favorite beers right there inside your golf bag and keep them cold the entire round. If you want any of the polos, hats, golf bags, custom bags, beer sleeves, whatever you want to check out, go to pinsandaces.com. When you do, use the promo code CHGO, and you're going to get 15% off of your first order and get free shipping. Again, that's pinsandaces.com, promo code CHGO.
Hey, and while you're on the golf course, a nice access add to your awesome Pins and Aces apparel and 7 beer sleeve is an awesome pair of sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you need to go visit our friends at Shady Rays, who decided to say, you know what, screw it. Cool, great quality sunglasses don't have to be expensive. They changed the sunglasses game, and you don't have to break the bank for quality sunglasses this fall because Shady Rays has you covered. Shady Rays are premium polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, and styles cater to everyone and every lifestyle. And the best part about Shady Rays, they have the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. Lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your shades on day one, they will send you a brand new pair free of charge, no questions asked. Did you drop them in a lake? Did you break them because you had to wipe the tears from your eyes during the Marian Hossa retirement ceremony. Did you drink all 7 beers in that Pins and Aces beer sleeve and lost them in a water hazard? It doesn't matter. They will replace them for free. Even with that strong of a protection program, they still managed to make quality that I can tell you for being a customer for the last couple of years, they are better than any expensive pair that you can get on the market. Shady Rays customers will agree with that, as they have over 200,000 5-star reviews. If you want to do good and look good at the same time, Shady Rays also provides 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed, and they have donated over 20 million meals to date. That is fantastic. They stand behind their product, and they told us that if there's any problem, they will throw profit right out the proverbial window and do whatever it takes to get it right. Free returns and exchanges. You either love your Shady Rays or they will pay to ship them back. And exclusively for our listeners only, Shady Rays is running the deepest deal of the season. Use the promo code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. Kids, it's late at night, but I still even know that's buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs of awesome Shady Rays for as low as $54 at shadyrays.com.
It's a great deal. You know what else is great, fellas? It's almost 1 a.m. We've got 60 people in the chat. We've had over 30 people like the YouTube. If you're in here and you're on the YouTube, please smash that like button now. That helps us big time. It's the greatest thing you can do. It takes literally half of a second to do. Smash that like button there, that thumbs up button. Please do that for us. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen, Spotify, Apple Pods, Stitcher, whatever. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications so you know when new episodes drop. And if you'd really like to be helpful, a 5-star review, especially on Apple Podcasts, goes a really, really long way. So those are some very easy ways to help us out, as well as getting some new merch at CHGO Locker, joining us at allchgo.com, where we've got some great written content. Can have a bit of an update to our membership coming this week, so stay tuned for that. It's a big week here at CHGO. Remember, special show Friday at 11 a.m. You do not want to miss that. I'll give you 81 reasons why not at another date. Tuesday, the 22nd, we're going to talk to Bernie Nichols at 2 p.m. So start marking your calendars on all these things. But before we wrap up, we have to update the tank standings. So let's do it. All right. There they are. The Anaheim Ducks, who played about as well as you can play and still lost 15 games. They're 4-10-1 with 9 points. The Blue Jackets, who just lost Zach Werenski for the season, have 9 points in 14 games, 4-9-1. The St. Louis Blues, winners of 2 in a row, 5-8-0, 10 points in 15 games. The Sharks with 11 points in 16 games, and the Canucks with 11 and 15. The Hawks currently at 11 in the tank standings, 14 games, or 6-5-3 with 15 points.
Someone in the chat, I'll have to go back and find it, but someone in the chat pointed out that currently on the great website Tankathon, the Blackhawks are projected to have the 14th pick and the 15th pick. This was from Bijan. The 14th and 15th picks, that 15th pick coming from the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah. So just so people know, Tankathon's different from the tank standings because Tankathon has everybody like with their winning percentages over 82, and not everybody's played the same amount of games, so that's why they're different.
Yeah.
And one quick comment because it's got to do with the Calder Cup, and that's my thing. Sam asked who was the last team to win the Calder Cup, and then within 5 years the Stanley Cup. That I don't have an answer to because that hasn't happened in a while. But the Syracuse Crunch made it to the Calder Cup final in both 2013 and 2017. That is the Tampa Bay farm team. They didn't win the cup, but they made it to the final with a lot of those guys like Tyler Johnson. A lot of the guys from those cup teams went, and the Charlotte Checkers and the Chicago Wolves have won the last 2 Calder Cups. Those are both Carolina Hurricane teams. The Wolves now are. So the Hurricanes have won the last 2 Calder Cups, and a lot of those guys who are especially on that 2019 team are on the team now. So there is a lot, deep playoff runs in the AHL can help you out. A lot of times, though, it's not necessarily, the team with the best prospects that win the Calder Cup. It's the team with the most AHL veterans that get it done. Yeah. So it's a little misleading, but, you can correlate. The Kings AHL team, the Manchester Monarchs, won the Calder Cup. I want to say the same year or the year after they won their last cup. So it's there.
Didn't the Hershey Bears win the Calder Cup not too long before the Caps won?
Actually, it was a little bit before. It was 09 and 010, so about 8 or 9 years before they won the cup. But it's there. Yes, the Charlotte Checkers are now the Panthers farm team, but when they won in 2019, they were Hurricanes.
Yeah, the Toronto Marlies won it. And a lot of those players came up to be part of the Maple Leafs teams that have been regular season juggernauts and playoff not juggernauts. But I mean, there is some success there that can translate. So,
yep. We got a question from No Righteous Rage. How was watching Adam Fantilli? What's your opinion of him? Went and saw him on Friday night. No,
night.
Friday night. Yeah, that was Friday. I'm looking at my computer and it says Sunday. I'm like, but that was yesterday.
Right.
Yeah. He did not really pop that much against Notre Dame. I think despite Ryder Ralston's objections, they did kind of focus on him and they wanted to take him out of the game as much as they could. He ended up with an assist.
He had an assist again tonight too.
Yeah, he did not have any moments. He didn't have any wow moments, but clearly one of the best players on the ice. Luke Hughes is there as well. I like the TJ Hughes kid too, but he's 21 and undrafted.
He had a big game.
Was awesome. Yeah, that could be one of those college free agents to keep an eye on.
There were a few moments that Fantilli had where you could kind of see okay, he's that's only special players can make a certain play like that. There were a few times where he took the puck into the zone 1-on-3 and kept possession while Michigan was changing. Like it was just like that was something that not every player can do. But yeah, he wasn't too highlight reel worthy in Friday night's game. But Friday night's game was one of the most physical hockey games I have watched in a very long time.
I think that had a factor in Fantilli. I haven't seen a lot of Michigan, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that was the most physical game he's ever been a part of. There were a couple plays where he got hit and was a little slow to get up and was feeling it on the bench. So that could have had a factor in, Mackie Semiskevich. My God, that kid just if he was like a Timex watch, they were throwing it off a building, rolling it over with a steamroller, and he kept getting up. He was literally boarded into the boards head first twice in 3 shifts, then took another nasty hit later and was getting pulverized, and he would just get right back up and play. And he had a goal tonight. He's a tough kid.
Yeah.
Fantilli, by the way, on the season here, I'm not sure when this was updated. This is via Hockey DB. 11 points for the Wolverines, 11 games for the Wolverines, 22 points. So
I think that is up to 23. It is okay.
Yeah. I think that's up to date because I think going into this weekend he had 20 points going into this weekend.
There you go.
Yeah, he is ahead of Jack Eichel's scoring pace, which I think is. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's like a freshman record.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Eichel
has the freshman scoring record. My only advice, I really enjoyed the trip to Notre Dame. We can get into this maybe more on.
Yeah, we will. We'll
Tuesday.
Do it this week.
I enjoyed it. My own advice to you: definitely check out a game at the Compton Family Ice Arena. It's a great facility, but bring a jacket and a hat.
It's cold,
freaking
man.
cold.
It's cold.
I mean, I know it's ice. It's supposed to be cold. But that was one of the colder arenas I've ever been in.
I think we might have been underdressed because of the previous day being 75 degrees.
True.
Right. Yeah.
Next time we go, I'm wearing thermal socks.
And it was 65 when we left my house. And then we got to Notre Dame. It's like, oh my God, we drive to the North Pole. What the hell?
It snowed in Indiana today.
It snowed a little bit here today too. Yeah.
I drove through some flurries earlier.
Not by me.
Marc-Andre, Theo, Hayden, all the flurries.
All of them.
By the way, if you want to check in on Connor Bedard, 19 games, 17 goals, 24 assists, 41 points. Good night, everybody. That's Connor Bedard.
He has an 18 game point streak in which he has 40 points.
He's not slipping. He's not pulling a Shane Wright.
No, not happening.
Like literally, whoever wins the draft lottery should just stand up and go, "We take Connor Bedard," and then you start with number 2.
Exactly. All right, let's wrap this up. Thanks to Steven for running the show tonight. Thanks to everybody for hanging out with us on a late Saturday night. We know you've got a lot more to do on Saturday night than hang out with us, but apparently not. Nerds. But we appreciate it anyway. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out and tell a friend about us. Damn it. We want to have more friendly chats with all y'all. So thanks for sticking with us. We'll talk to you Monday on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.